Shorty. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody out there.
Yes. Cheers to 2023.
Cheers to 23.
And to all of you, we wish you a happy, healthy, prosperous, and peaceful 2023.
Amen.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Yep. So what we talking on today?
Oh, it's around the world of sports.
All right.
It's a little bit of a continuation from my last video where I was talking about the Christmas games. And I started to touch on the Knicks game that Luka Doncic had his historic night in.
Oh, that was what, Tuesday
That was
night?
Tuesday night that game played. So, yeah, Knicks scored 121 points. Dallas Mavericks scored 126 in overtime. That game was basically Luka.
Luka against the Knicks.
Luka against the Knicks. Again, 60 points, 21 rebounds, 10 assists. The only player who's ever done that.
Wow, nice.
At 23 years old, mind you.
Is he that young?
23.
Really? Wow.
Which means he's probably getting better. Yeah, you laugh.
I mean,
he's probably getting better. Like he probably has not reached his ceiling yet.
Yeah.
23 years old.
But he's been playing.
To be fair, he's been a professional basketball player since the age of 16, I believe, something like that. He was a teenager, and he was playing basketball. He actually moved to Spain from Slovenia. That's right. He's from Slovenia.
And he moved to Spain to play professional basketball.
Exactly.
As a teenager. So he's been playing.
Spain has one of the better teams in the world. So he's been playing basketball for a long time. He's fluent in a number of languages. He's mature beyond 23 years.
And it definitely shows on the court.
It shows everywhere. It shows in his game. It shows in his demeanor. He's the real deal. At 23 years old, he's the real deal. He's been the real deal before 23. And he just seems to be getting better. So anyway, he had this epic night against the Knicks. And no other player has ever done in the history of the league.
It just had to be done against the Knicks.
And it had to be done against my Knicks.
Sorry, Knicks.
The worst part is not even his game. That epic game. That's not the worst part. The worst part is that the Mavs were down by 9 in the fourth quarter with 33 seconds left. Down by 9 with 33 seconds left.
Yeah, I think you said the Mavericks fans.
The Mavericks fans, a lot of them they left already. They thought the game was over. They were like, oh, the Knicks are going to win. Let's go beat the traffic. They should have stayed for their Mavs. When you got Luka Doncic on your team, you never know. You never know. But in the Knicks' defense, Jalen Brunson did not play, had a hip injury. R.J. Barrett left early in that game. It was first reported that he had a lacerated finger. It turns out his finger was bent back by Luka Doncic accidentally. And his tendon was showing. So, so he could not play any longer in that game. And he's still out. He's still out. They say he's going to be out for about a week or so. So we'll see. No Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin is still out. He has a knee fracture, so he's been out for a while, and he still continues to be out. So you're missing 3 key players out of the Knicks rotation. I say that because Tom Thibodeau basically employed an 8-man rotation. An 8-man rotation in the NBA is not going very deep into your bench, especially when you have guys that are injured. And out of that 8-man rotation, 5 players played the most minutes. The other 3 players kind of played spot minutes.
That should never happen.
That should never happen. You can't have 5 guys out there playing the majority of your minutes. Not that many minutes.
It's too much on
in an overtime game, mind you. After those 5 players, Derrick Rose played the highest amount of minutes, which was 12. So it's like you play these 5 players into the ground. They're exhausted at the end of the game. Like I said, Derrick Rose only plays 12 minutes. Cam Reddish and Evan Fournier don't play at all in that game. These are two guys that used to be starters that are no longer getting minutes. You would think that if you got Luka Doncic going off like that, you might want to put these guys in just to see if they could do something.
Did anybody ask Thibodeau about that in the post game? There were any of the reporters?
Yeah, they did. They
What
did.
was his response?
And he stuck to his guns. He said no. He said no, I didn't think about it. He was like, I like the way my guys were playing, and he wanted to leave them out there. He really didn't want to hear that. He didn't want to hear it. He said they should have finished the game. And he's right about that. The Knicks should have won the game. But
those guys needed rest.
they did need rest.
In
Well,
the
those
midst of
guys
the
played
game.
over 40 minutes. One of them played over 50 minutes.
That's too much.
It's too much. It's too much. Mitch Robinson played the least. Out of those 5 players, Mitchell Robinson played the least, and that was 36 minutes. Everybody else, out of those 5 players, played at least 40-something minutes. It's too much. It's too much. The Knicks did some good things in the game. Quentin Grimes had his career high, 33 points, but he was guarding Luka for most of the time. 33 and 60, big difference. I don't blame Quentin Grimes. He's a young player. He's an up-and-coming player. He's not on Luka Doncic's level, but he did score 33. You know, that's his career high. And it's not like he played bad defense on Luka. Luka's just that good.
Right.
He's just that good.
He did what he was supposed to
Quentin
do.
Grimes did his job, but you could tell at the end of the game he made mistakes because he was tired. When you're tired like that, you're exhausted in the game, you're going to make mental mistakes because you're tired. And a lot of them made mental mistakes at the end because of fatigue.
Which is why
You got to go to your bench.
should have put in bench players to give the starters some time to rest. You know,
I'm okay.
I'm just filling this in for people that might be watching
right.
that
They might
don't
not
know
understand. I
all
appreciate
the-
that.
yeah.
No, I appreciate that because you know me. I just talk. I talk. But it's. Let me try to explain it this way. You don't put guys that you normally don't play, at least that you haven't been playing lately, at the end of the game when you have a close game. But my point is, in the first quarter, in the second quarter, give them some minutes so that your main guys are not exhausted at the end of the game.
right.
In the third quarter, sprinkle them in a little bit so that your guys are getting rest throughout the early parts of the game. So that at the end of the game, they have their legs.
They can
Their
pull
legs are
through.
not worried. They can pull through at the end. But if you're not gonna play those guys and you're gonna exhaust your main guys, especially a game that end up going into overtime, that's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask. And I thought Tibbs should have used his bench more wisely. So, like I said, there were some good things. Like I said, Quentin Grimes has career high 33. Emmanuel Quickly had a career high 15 assists, which was really good for him. And also, he had 13 points to add on to that. Mitchell Robinson had his season high 20 points. He had 16 rebounds. Julius Randle was really good. He had 29 points, 18 rebounds. So they performed offensively. They had enough points to win the game. But at the end of the game, they just didn't execute. And I feel like a lot of that poor execution was fatigue. Those guys were exhausted. Not only were they physically exhausted, you could tell they were mentally exhausted. Because it was a back and forth game. It was a game that the Knicks should have had. But like I said, I felt like Tibbs should have used the bench more wisely. I think we could have pulled it off if those players weren't so exhausted at the end. They just didn't have it. They made a lot of mistakes at the end of the game. And Luka Doncic capitalized on it. He really did. So again, shout out to him for the great game he had. But like I said, I think Tibbs needs to use that bench a little bit more. He's kind of a stubborn coach. And I just feel like sometimes you got to do something different from what you're used to doing.
Do you think upper management will have had a talk with him about this?
I don't know. I really don't know what the front office, how they go about their daily business when it comes to him. I don't know if they just let him run it completely or if they have input. I imagine they have input at some point, but how much input, I don't know. But so it depends on the organization. Some organizations let the coach do what the coach wants to do. They trust the coach. Other organizations have more input. The Knicks are very tight-lipped on the way they run their ship. So it's hard to say. It's hard to get a pulse of the front office and back channels of where they do things. But I don't know.
I bet if that was the Mavericks, Cuban would have
Oh,
definitely.
Cuban is very hands-on. Cuban
would have been like,
Mark
come
Cuban
in my
is
office.
like, right.
Come in here right now.
We need to have a sit down. We need to have a sit down and iron this stuff out. But yeah, I'm not really sure what the behind the scenes workings are.
Okay.
But I hope that in maybe a future game like that, he would employ his bench a little bit more.
Yeah, he can't have a repeat of
You
that.
can't
You can't have a repeat of that at all. There's zero tolerance for that.
You can't. That 9 points, 33 seconds left. You got to win that game.
The Knicks fans going to be booing like the Jets fans.
It's a good thing that game was in Dallas.
Because
if that was in the Garden,
might have been different.
Might have been very different in the Garden. But yeah, I mean, they got a break for that game being in Dallas. But yeah, regardless, I don't care how great Luka's playing, you got to pull that game off. And the Knicks did some great things in that game. They had the game won, and they just choked at the end. But I think a lot of that was fatigue. And a lot of that is just not having a guy like Jalen Brunson on the court who organizes everything. He's pretty much the leader on the court. And not having Jalen Brunson and his savvy, not having R.J. Barrett out there, another guy you can really go to, that hurt. But at the same time, you're up by 9 with 33 seconds left. You got to win.
Right.
You got to win. I don't care who you have on the court. You got to win that game. But yeah, certain things hurt them. But guys did play well. It's just that you can play well all game long. But if you play well for 40-something minutes and the game goes into overtime, you got to play well there too. And you got to finish the game in the fourth quarter. It should have never went into overtime. It went to overtime. Those guys were exhausted. They wiped out. They didn't have anything left in overtime. So, again, that hurt them. Moving on, they played
Again.
the Spurs.
What, Thursday?
That was Thursday, I believe. Knicks 115 points. San Antonio Spurs 122. The Knicks are now 18-18. The Spurs are 12-23, which tells you they didn't play a very good team. Spurs only have 12 wins. Like, this is the Knicks' 5th straight loss. They had that 8-game winning streak, and it's like, and they're losing.
Now they're having a losing streak.
Right. It's like you can't erase those 8 games. Like you had an 8-game winning streak. Like now you're losing that. You're losing that momentum. So they lost 5 in a row. You can't lose to a team like San Antonio. If you're trying to make the playoffs, you cannot lose to a team like San Antonio. You just can't. You can't. Julius Randle was great again. 41 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Emmanuel Quickly was great. 36 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Evan Fournier actually got a chance to get in the game.
Nice.
Tibbs actually played him. Only played him for 17 minutes, but he scored 11 points in that 17 minutes, which was pretty productive for someone who hasn't played in 6 weeks.
He capitalized on that.
Yeah, he stayed ready. But, again, no Cam Reddish. Didn't go to the bench and play Cam Reddish. But to me, the story of the game was not the Knicks' offense. They put up enough points. 115 points should be enough to win a game, especially against the Spurs. But you have savvy old Greg Popovich, my favorite coach in the league, who just knows how to coach. He got a bunch of young guys on his team, and he coaches them hard, and they respond. But the story was the Knicks' defense. The Knicks played defense, they would have won this game. Their defense was lacking. Their defense was really lacking. And it showed, and the Spurs are winning the game. You can't come to the game and not play defense. The Knicks, when they were winning games, they were playing great defense. And they took a step back. And I don't care that Barrett didn't play. I don't care that Brunson didn't play. You got to win a game like that. A team that has 12 wins, you got to beat them. I don't care whether it's in San Antonio or not. You got to beat a team that has 12 wins. If you're trying to be taken seriously, you got to beat a team like that. And I know they got a great coach, but they're not more talented than the Knicks.
Right.
You got to win that game, especially after losing to Dallas. You got to bounce back and win that game.
Right.
It wasn't a back-to-back. You had a day off. You got to get your rest, and you got to come in and win that game. You didn't travel far. You went from Dallas to San Antonio. No excuses. You got to win that game.
Right.
So, yeah, my Knicks, they've been disappointing me lately. Obviously, I understand they have some injuries. But you can't lose to Dallas like that and then turn around and lose to a bad San Antonio team. You can't. I digress. That is my Knicks talk for this section of the video. I will not be talking about the Knicks any longer in this video.
Okay, moving right along.
Moving right on. Thursday night football.
Did you get to watch Thursday night football?
I saw some clips. Honestly, I didn't watch the game, but I did see some clips, and I did my research on the game. And
because you had the Knicks game to watch.
I had the Knicks game, so I got to see some highlights and stuff like that. I'm not gonna be talking about this game long because I did not watch it, but the Dallas Cowboys, 27 points, played the Tennessee Titans that only had 13 points. Dallas Cowboys are real. They're 12-4.
They're doing their thing this year.
They're having a good year. They're having a good year. They're right behind Philly in the NFC East. They're playing well. They're playing well. They played a struggling Tennessee Titans team who are now 7-9. Dak Prescott, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, played pretty well. CeeDee Lamb was good, 11 receptions, 100 yards. Dalton Schultz, tight end Dalton Schultz, 7 receptions, 56 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
The Cowboys are doing their thing.
Yes, they are.
This segment is for my niece, Kayla. That's her team. She lives in Dallas. She loves her Cowboys. She loves her Dak Prescott. So this segment is for her. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I respect what they're doing. 12-4 is impressive.
Shout out to Kayla.
Shout out to Kayla and her Cowboys. But like I said, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I did not watch the game in fairness. So I just want to give her a little shout out and congratulate her Dallas Cowboys and her on her team. Moving on to my team. The New York Jets, who are now 7-8, will be playing the Seattle Seahawks this weekend, tomorrow, at 4:05 in Seattle. Seattle's also 7-8. I guarantee you this game is going to feel like a playoff game. Even though it's not the playoffs yet, it's going to feel like a playoff game.
It's going to be tense.
It's going to be tense because both these teams need to win. They need to win to increase their playoff chances. The Jets really need this win. Good thing for the Jets, Mike White is back.
He's back?
He is back. He is back.
Okay.
Ribs are healed. He's cleared to play.
Nice.
He's back. No more Zach Wilson, peoples.
Tuning in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It should be a good game because Mike White is back. I have hope when Mike White is in the lineup.
Right.
He for whatever reason he sparks the team. The team seems to rally behind him and play well, and he plays well. So hopefully he can get back to what he was prior to the injury, and we need this win against Seattle. Problem is Seattle has Geno Smith, who's having a great year. If he wasn't playing against my Jets, I probably would be rooting for him. But he's playing against my Jets, so I got to root for Mike White and my Jets. But Geno Smith has been phenomenal this year. Props to him. But like I said, this game I think is going to really feel like a playoff game.
Okay.
So it should be a good game.
All right.
It should, I hope it's close. You know, I hope it's like I don't see the Jets necessarily going in there and blowing them out. But the Jets, I need my Jets to come out with a win.
Right.
But Seattle, they're going to be hungry too. So it should make for a very good game. Should make for a very good game. I'm actually really looking forward to this game.
Nice entertainment for New Year's.
It should, yeah, it should really feel like a playoff game. So if y'all into football, check that game out. Next, Rest in peace to Brazilian soccer star Pelé. He passed away at 82 years old. I'm not a big soccer guy, but the first guy I was introduced to with soccer was Pelé. Arguably the greatest soccer player of all time. So rest in peace, Pelé, and peace and comfort to his family and friends.
Absolutely.
Gervonta Davis.
Oh, forgot about that. Ooh,
He
child.
was recently charged with domestic violence.
Do you know if he's still incarcerated? If he posted bail or something? Did he even post it?
Nah, he's out. He's
So
out.
he is out.
He got out on Wednesday.
Okay.
He got out on Wednesday in Parkland, Florida. Apparently, it was alleged that he struck the mother of his daughter. It was alleged.
Alleged.
Guess what? Just yesterday, I think it was yesterday, the mother of his daughter claims that nothing happened.
Really?
Yeah. She recanted her statement. She said that she lied.
Wow.
She didn't say that, but basically, I'm
recanted
paraphrasing.
her
She
statement.
recanted her statement saying that he did not harm her or the daughter. She said they were involved in an argument. The argument got heated, and in her frantic state, she called the police on him. I have strong feelings about that. If he did not touch her, women, do not call the cops on people if they don't assault you. Don't do it. Because that could have went left. If he didn't touch her, it appears from what's coming out is that he didn't. I don't know. But if he did not touch her, if you're arguing with somebody, let it be an argument.
Right.
It's an argument. That happens all the time in relationships. I don't think they're
Not
together.
ours.
Not ours, but what I'm saying,
I'm kidding.
but what I'm saying, well, we have arguments, but we don't really have heated arguments, and we rarely argue. But some couples do.
Yeah.
But male or female, do not call the cops.
Right.
Don't call the cops. Like, especially, and I'm just gonna say this because I'm a black man. Especially being a black man,
Right.
sometimes police can show up and a situation can be escalated beyond what it has to be.
Exactly.
Gervonta Davis could have been killed. Who knows? He was actually jailed. Anything could have happened in jail.
Yes.
People do get killed in jail. People get assaulted in jail. Stuff happens. It's an argument. If the man put his hands on you, that's different. That's different. But if he did not put his hands on you and you're calling the police on him, and you know that's the father of your child, that could have went left. It could have went left. I implore people not to do stuff like that. Arguments do happen. Walk away. Walk away, calm down, and then have a civilized conversation later.
Right.
You know, it's sad. It's sad. And it's sad that the daughter's involved in this. The daughter was there. She shouldn't have to see any of this. But yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Unless he's violent. If he's violent, that's different. But if it's an argument or you're mad because he's not with you or whatever the case may be, that's not why you call the police. Don't waste the police time and don't waste his time. And don't potentially endanger him.
Right.
Don't potentially endanger him. That's my diatribe on that. I had to it bothers me when stuff like that happens.
Or it could be that it did happen and she's recanting her statement because he has fights coming up.
Listen, like I said,
we don't know.
what happened. I'm saying if.
Right.
I started with if.
No, I
If that's
understand
the
you said
case. If that's the case. We don't know what the case is. But we know that she recanted her statement.
Right.
Now, that could be more than one reason why she recanted that statement. Maybe it didn't happen. Maybe it did happen. But if it didn't, do not call the cops on this man. Because you could be doing it just to get back at him. But
He could lose his life.
that get back could be a lot worse than what you imagine it to be.
Exactly.
That's my point.
Right.
Now, if he did hit her, yeah, his ass deserves to be in jail. Period. That's how I feel about that.
Mm-hmm.
Stop hitting women. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't do it, yeah, you shouldn't serve time in jail because you had an argument
Right.
with your child's mom.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. So, January 7th, he's supposed to be fighting Hector Luis Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
The
The
fight,
other Garcia.
the other Garcia, not Ryan Garcia. The Ryan Garcia fight is sledged for April 25th.
Mm-hmm.
That's when that fight is supposed to go on.
The Ryan Garcia.
The Ryan
also known
Garcia.
as Superboy.
Superboy,
The
right?
Superboy fight is in
April 25th. It's slated for April 25th. But January 7th, which is next weekend, Hector Luis Garcia, who's no slouch. Gervonta Davis needs to take him seriously, and hopefully he is, because the guy can fight. I've seen him fight a few times. He can fight. So it should be. It's not the Ryan Garcia fight with Tank Davis, which should be a bigger fight, but Hector Luis Garcia is no slouch. He has to take that fight seriously. So hopefully he's focused enough to actually go into this fight and put on a good performance, and we'll see what happens. On a lighter note, Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Blaine Gabbert, he's the backup quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Him and his two brothers actually were involved in a rescue during a helicopter crash,
Oh, wow.
which is amazing.
Nice.
Amazing. His brothers were jet skiing,
Uh-huh.
and a helicopter crashed.
Oh, my goodness. Where was this?
This was in Florida. This was in Florida, in the Tampa Bay area. And they were jet skiing. They realized they heard like a faint noise in the background, and they went to investigate. Realized a helicopter had crashed, and they actually went and saved those people out of the helicopter and put them on their
praise
jet
God.
skis. So yeah, praise God that they helped in the rescue. The great thing about this guy is he didn't even want any credit for it. He was surprised that it made news. Like, he did it selflessly. He was surprised that people made such a big deal about it. He was just like, I was in the right place at the right time. And he helped him out.
Nice.
And it was an amazing story to read. So shout out to Blaine Gabbert and his two brothers who actually helped rescue these people from the helicopter.
Very nice. Very nice.
So I'll leave it there.
Nice. Nice way to round it
Right.
out. Nice way to round out the year. We're filming it, Saturday, December
Saturday.
31st. So, again, we wish everyone a happy New Year's Eve. Stay safe tonight if you're going to be out. Don't drink and drive, most
That's right.
definitely. And we'll see you all in the new year.
All right. Happy New Year, people.
Happy New Year.
Peace.
Peace.